Hey, what's going on? This is Grixon. I have a 21 SD I'm going to show you right now, and I did it as Night Fae. So, I don't have all the soul binds unlocked, but Night Fae is kind of interesting. Your death and decay is changed with Death's Due. And with that, you do a bunch of extra damage while you have Death's Due down, and your heart strikes increase your strength and decreases the amount of damage minions, like things, do to you. And if you're using the Naya Soulbind, you get a ton of mastery, a ton of HP from it as well. So the health is definitely very springy. It's very rubber bandy. But I mean, I'm already doing 16 something K HPS. So your health gets way up there. You just rotationally, it's a lot harder because you have to understand that Death Due. If you can see right here, I'm going to bring my mouse right here. Right here, this is your stacks. You can have 4 stacks going at a time. So rotationally, it's a lot harder because you have to understand that your Death and Decay is now Death's Due, and it's like a mini game. It's like there's like a window. You want to have runes for heart strikes to make sure you keep that buff up as much as possible. So now that I have been playing Night Fae today, Heart Strike is my number 1 damage. And then it's Blood Boil, and then it's Death's Due. Those 3 are always like really neck and neck actually. But I Heart Strike so much more than I used to. And yeah, this warrior died twice now to traps. He keeps standing in traps. So it's interesting. You have to kind of play the mini game. There's more rotational overhead there. It's definitely fun, and it's kind of cool, like seeing your heals just go up into like the 20Ks sometimes. Like I think my highest was a HOA I did. Sadly, I didn't record it. It was a 20 HOA I timed, and I had 25K HPS on the first pull. It was left with lust, so it can go pretty nuts actually. And yeah, it's pretty fun. It's nice because being a blood DK, you're very slow. This stops that completely. I wouldn't say this is my favorite Covenant now, but it's really fun. I would say my least favorite is actually Kyrian. I really dislike how Kyrian works. I go it for necrotic weeks, but I actually really dislike it. So I like having soul shape. I like being able to run out of things if I need to. I like being able to charge into things quickly if I need to. Kind of get there before the team. Death's Due is now like a main cooldown, so you kind of want that up as much as possible. So I still need to find the perfect balance here because I am overcapping runic power and I'm wasting runes. So even after I have my 4 stacks, I will keep spamming Heart Strike more than I should. So then when Death's Due comes up again, look, I have like no runes left. That's the problem with this. It's not a problem. It's me. It's not the soul binds. It's me. So understand that if you're going to play Night Fae, it's very fun and you will have a ton of mastery from it. And I don't have all the soul binds unlocked, so I'm missing the very last row, which will give you 50% more health increase. Like whatever its normal health increase is, it'll give you 50% more of that. So my health would actually go up more. Just waiting for the pat. I didn't want to waste a invis pot here because I only have 1 left. Or sorry, 3 left. Someone traded me 2 before this run. It was actually pretty nice. After we did this key, the Demon Hunter said I was the best blood DK he's ever ran with. Now, when you get into like 21s, 22s, I think you start to see a lot less blood DK. So really saying I'm like one of the best blood DKs ever ran with. I mean, I don't really know how many he actually runs with these days. But it was still it was nice to hear. One of the big advantages about doing this is I get to review my own footage and talk about it. So not only am I helping people who watch my videos, but I'm also helping myself. It's kind of nice because I can see where my mistakes were. I can see where I'm like, man, situationally I could have handled this much better, and then recognize that, and the next time kind of keep that in mind. I would say since I started doing YouTube videos for this, I mean, my skill went up insane amounts. So one thing I really miss about Venthyr, when it's a poll like this and you don't quite have everything up yet, it's pretty sketchy. And with Venthyr, it's really nice having Swarming Mist because you have aggro. Like, you're not going to drop aggro. You have it. So that I miss. And I miss having like that runic power bar just snap up really quick. Still, if you can keep things in Death and Decay, Death's Due now, does a lot of damage actually. And it can hold threat pretty good if you have everything in it. So now you kind of have to play a little bit more like an old school, I would say old school, but you know, you got to play more like I would say the DK was meant to be, where you want to be tanking things in your Death and Decay. You want things to be in your Death and Decay as much as possible. And I guess that's true with the other covenants, but it's definitely very important in this one. I haven't played with any of the soul bounce besides Naya. And if you see my mouse here, on this left here, that's my stacks of the mastery / HP. So if I'm at 5 stacks, I'm sitting at like 105k HP without Vamp Blood or anything. So keeping those stacks up is great. So I'm at 7. So every stack is HP and its mastery. When I get that last Soulbind row unlocked, it'll be even more HP. So with Vamp Blood up there, I'm at like 130k about. Close to. So definitely rotationally it's the strictest one, and it has a lot of potential to be incredibly tanky because you have so much effective health to dump into death strikes. So the way I do this boss, shifting gears here a little bit, is I like to do it the way that Metro from One Azeroth TV does it, where when it's Severing Smash time, he runs over here, he soaks this one right away, just boom, gets his out of the way, and then he can dump an AMZ if he needs to, or whatever, and just make sure that, you know, some tanks like to run with the DPS and then do it. However, I much prefer the way I watched him do it in his stream. It's been very good for me. And right there, that was a Nether Walk. Demon Hunters can take Nether Walk as a talent and just negate that. And good. So if this wasn't a fortified week, I would have actually pulled that stuff from the left as well, like all of it together. However it is, Gorfine's Grass there. I needed AMZ quickly to try and make sure that everybody stays alive here. And just kick any Curse of Suppressions you can. The other ones can get through. If you can't do anything about it, let the other ones go through. But you need to kick the Curse of Suppressions because it's most likely going to... It can hit any of your spellcasters, but it's very high chance it's going to hit your healer. And you don't want that. These things hit hard when you first start. You want some defensives up for that guy. Like for these. There's a lot of them, and they truck you in the beginning. Ooh. Yeah, when I drop Death's Due, I mean, look how much it's doing. It's ticking for 830k Not 830, okay, sorry, 830 damage like each time. I was gonna pull that guy. I was gonna pull him into the room, but I don't know. They stayed out. They ran in with me, so I kind of just stayed. Partway into this key, this warrior DCs, and we were nervous about it because we were doing a 22 mist right before this that fell apart because our mage just DC'd and never came back. Like the mist was going good. Like we got through the first boss, we were at the second boss after the maze, and he just DC'd. We didn't even get to pull it yet, and he DC'd. So I was really worried when this guy DCs that he wouldn't come back. Because for the most part, the run is, I mean, you know, it's pretty good. We've had a few deaths here and there. Actually, I think both were the warrior so far. He definitely is good at standing and stuff. Yeah, I don't know who this person is that whispered me. If you can see it on the bottom left. From Woody Kilchain. Keystone Mist 4 want in. I don't know who that is. I just didn't reply. He's asking here if I want to do the urn for this. I don't. I'm in Discord with Archie. I tell him to tell him no. I'm very bad at typing and tanking. And when you start to get into the somewhat higher keys, if you have time to like talk or, you know, type, there's no way you're getting hit that hard. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but the chains this guy drops, you can throw down AMS and miss it. Like you won't take AMS, anti-magic shield will just stop it. So normally I like to open the urn when these things are all about to die. So when these things are about to die, when they're at like 15% HP, I want that to open pretty much. You can line of sight those chains. I missed it. So just kicking all the curse of suppressions. It's very important. Any ones you can, do it. They hurt and they make it so your healer can't really heal. So it was open early, but I mean, we make do. The big secret to this dungeon, if anyone is like really afraid of it, is just these urns. That's it. If you can manage the urns properly, this dungeon is easy. And it has a very generous timer. It's not like Mists where you really mess up once, you're done. Or, you know, TOP, even though they added a minute, it still is like a pretty tight timed dungeon, I feel. This one has a pretty generous timer. Two kicks. Okay, good. So that's 10 stacks on the urn. Carry that in. Kill these guys. And then if you can, when they're almost dead, chain it into the next pack. Take advantage of this urn as much as possible. Again, kicking curses of suppressions. The dread bindings I AMS'd. I always make sure I have AMS up for this fight so I don't have to run out at all. Those are almost dead, so I'm going to pull this thing. That will start the whole encounter for the next. people get a little excited. They go a little hard. Ooh, 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 That's the life of a DK right there, man. You take a couple hits and you're almost dead. But that's what makes it fun. I don't think you guys realize that's what makes it fun right there. Knowing that if you mess up, your health is gone. That's the best part. Like, no other tank feels this fun. The harder the content, the more consequence there is if you mess up. And there's only you to blame. Like, you can self-heal like crazy. I mean, if you're a good blood DK, your healer is free up to do a lot more damage and top other people off. They really don't have to worry about you much. And that's amazing. Like, the healer can die and you can stay in the fight longer than like any other tank can, except for like maybe a Baird or an Incarn or something like that. But even then, I would argue that might not even be true. Incarn fades away, right? And if your rotation game is on point, you know, it's going to be hard to beat you. Oh man, I live for those almost death pulls when, like, you can't see my hand right now, but like when your butthole just gets this freaking tight, right when you see your health just jump down. Oh man, that's the best. And your heart rate kind of elevates a little bit. So I didn't do my own advice here. You can AMZ right here. When he does the wave of Terra, AMZ that. See, it's shadow damage. If you can see my screen, it's shadow damage. 11k of it was shadow damage. You could just help your team take away less damage right there. If you want that weak aura, I have a add-ons and UI video where I talk about that. Ooh, there it is, right there. See, almost went down. Night Fae feels really weak on the pull compared to Venthyr because of Swarming Mist gives you dodge and it gives you a lot of runic power on demand. So I definitely feel weaker on the pull as Night Fae, but I feel like the skill cap could be much higher because how much health and mastery I get to just heal it back up. Like, I have so much more room for that. So I wanted to pull these things into this urn. I wanted to check to see if the statue would wake up first. It didn't. So I'm kind of standing here telling our dude, hey, come over here. Open this, pretty much is what I'm saying. Because you want to get the buff established and rolling first. You want to get that going. And then, so the point is, you come here, you get your 10 stacks, you fight a pack down the way, and then you re-up your stacks pretty much at the next pot. You don't want it to wear out before that. All it does is take one mob to re-up your stacks. It just refreshes them. If you're already at 10 and you kill something in an urn area, it'll just refresh it. So you have another 2 minutes at 10 stacks. So this whole thing, he opened it way too early. I did tell him to do it, but I thought he would use his judgment a little bit better here on this. I did not mean to grab that extra pack, but this still could work out. I'm going to Gorfiends. Oh, that sucks. I Gorfiends, but they got AoE stunned, so I couldn't pull them all in. That dude stood in Exploding Anger. The swirlies that come out, that's like a one shot on a fortified week. So I do battle res him here, and Archie goes down too. I'm not actually sure how Archie died. Where does he die? But anyways, this urn is a complete bust. People dying. With people dying and the stuff not dying fast enough, we don't get the stacks we need. So the urn's already closed. It was wasted. Urn was opened a little too early and things didn't die fast enough, pretty much. That's what happened. So I battle res Archie. Having someone die and then just DC right here is a big deal. More than you'd think. So the thing, yeah, like this dungeon really hinges around these urns. So If you can have 10 stacks right there, you run forward, you go to the next urn, and you re-up your stacks, and you have them for the boss afterwards too. You know what I mean? Like, you get the tail end of it. Kind of just looking while we're waiting. I mean, the buff is screwed. Like, we're not. That part's over. So we're kind of hoping the lenient timer of this dungeon kind of carries us here. And I mean, credit, the mage is actually really good. Without this mage's damage, you know what I mean? Yeah, so here you'd want to open the urn. One of two things. Like, one, if your priority system here, if your buff is about to, I hate when I go to grip something and, if your buff is about to wear out, open the urn and have something die. Like that flying book thing has like no HP. You can easily grip that in, use it, and get your stack refreshed. So if the buff is about to wear out, open the urn. Or if these are about to die, open the urn, because then the tank can run, grab the next pack, bring him into it, get the refresh. So here we're kind of thinking the worst, right? Like, tank is gone, or warrior's gone. But his game crashed and he's back. It was scary for sure. I mean, for me, this is the hardest part of the whole dungeon, actually, is just this wing. Things go hard on this wing for me. Like, I survive it fine, but this is where people die. This is where the urns don't line up correctly. I don't know. It definitely can be done. But, you know, like I said, the urn needs to kind of come up right when this stuff is dying. Not really before. It's a lot of wasted time trying to kill these. And at that point, I'm like, you know, I could drag the stuff back. I could drag this back. But it's like, why bother? Just do it. We already lost our momentum of the urns as it is, so why bother? Let's just do it. Ooh. Oh, by the way, that warden, how he has stripes on his health bar, I put him as my focus, and my kick does a focus kick. So if I have a focus target, it will kick the focus. If I don't have a focus target, it'll kick what I'm highlighting, pretty much. Whatever my target is, it'll kick, unless I have a focus. Then it'll kick the focus target. Very handy. That way I can just focus this warden, kick him whenever it comes up, but still, like, manipulate the rest of the battle. But yeah, if done right, you get your 10 stacks at the right side of the dungeon. You come here, you refresh it, you kill that warden and the gargoyle thing. I should have actually came here and grabbed it together and had them all come together, but that's usually if you have all 10 stacks, you would do that. Kill all this stuff, everybody's at like 50% increased damage, it all dies fast. Then you go for boss and you have like 15 seconds left of the buff on the boss. That's when you have less going. It burns quick. That is the whole secret to this dungeon. By the way, you need 75% to go down and do the skip before the gauntlet. 70 if you are not skipping. When I say percent, I mean count for the dungeon. Which would be where my mouse is, right here. So we are good to go down and skip. I always forget because I actually don't get to do this dungeon often enough. So I always like, is it 75 or is it 80? I always mess that up. So sometimes I still look at my mythic dungeon tools to just double check, which I do in this key. All right. Always when that manifestation comes up, tab to it and taunt it. Get its aggro right away. And another good tip, it pulses damage. If you can tab to it, taunt it, and then stun it, it won't tick damage when it's stunned. So if you're Blood DK, you would just tab to it and then asphyxiate it. That stun matters. Like it'll be good. So I go to it. Do I asphyxiate it? Do I do it? What am I doing? What am I doing? Maybe I don't think it's up. Okay, I'm just a bad player. You guys honestly shouldn't be listening to me. I can't believe I didn't do that. What was I thinking about? That castigate. The mage can ice block it. I think the mage can ice block it. I mean, they can ice block it, but it might still pulse damage. The demon hunter can nether walk it, and the warrior can spell reflect it. So here I think I double check. So I just scroll down on my list here. Okay, 74. Yeah, okay, yep. We're good. So doesn't matter if it's fortified or tyrannical. You want to do this room in 2 pulls. You want to do the trash in 2 pulls. So the way I like to do it is if the patrol that goes around the back is near here, I run this way, I grip it in, we kill these, and then I go around the boss, pull the LT with the other guys. Again, kicking any suppressions you can. And as DK, see right there, I did a Gorfine's Grasp. So you can kick it, you can asphyxiate it, you can death grip it, you can Gorfine's Grasp it. All those things can interrupt the cast. Now, as a Blood DK, be very careful with this LT. He is deceptively good, and actually saves my life here. While you're fighting him, you take 50% increased physical damage, and that includes the auto attacks from the stuff you're fighting with it. So you have to be very ready to death strike. Very ready to death strike. See here, I'm trying to get out of the area. This guy can range me, I guess. Right here. One of my issues I have is I'm not a good tab targeter because I don't trust it. I always feel like I'm going to tab the wrong thing. So sometimes I lose whatever I'm targeted on because I click away from it and then I can't death strike. So sometimes that almost gets me killed. Like that time where I had gas in the tank to death strike, but I didn't have a target to click because I clicked off. I didn't realize that told me to go. So, as Blood DK on this fight, especially a non-tyrannical fight, I don't take a single orb. You just don't need it. Because this first Rite of Supremacy, you do AMS. And here it is. Boom. You're completely fine. You death strike up, you're done. This is one of the bosses you want to pool runic power, especially during the strikes, whatever they're called. Iron spikes. Actually, I did a Icebound Fortitude for that. I don't know what I did. I must have been low on runes and I was worried. So this one I'm going to AMZ. Anybody who wants to get in can. Do it near the end of the cast because it puts a debuff on people. And you can really help with that. The Siren Spikes, I use my trinket. Good to go. This one I have nothing. This is when I would use Icebound Fortitude. Actually, no, I have AMS for this. It's 100% shadow damage, so if you can AMS it, it's insane. This last one, I'll have nothing for it. Now, normally I would do like a rune tap or something, but I think I just did nothing. I think I put Vamp Blood here. I didn't even Vamp Blood that. Holy cow! What is wrong with me? Oh, you know what? I know what's going on here. Well, this this is not an excuse, but it's kind of cute. They did it's close to Christmas time here, so they did like a Santa slash oh my god, I'm sorry, I can't talk. It's getting late. It's 1:20 in the morning. They did like a Christmas fire truck with a bunch of lights on it and a Santa walking. It was like a parade kind of thing through my neighborhood. So my daughter was going nuts. She wanted to go see. So I was talking with my wife saying like, I'm gonna have to finish this run and then I'll meet you out there pretty much. So I think I was talking with her. I was getting distracted and I was worried about making sure, like finishing it and making it there to see, because I want to see her face. I want to see her have fun. She was excited for it. So I would have felt bad if I like missed that moment because I was playing World of Warcraft. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyways. These traps are very hard on fortified weeks. If you're going to eat them, you have to run them over and immediately death strike. Or you can use whatever the use thing is, the radiance thing. You can put those down and eat all of them. So if there's like 4 of them out, you can do that and then just run over them all and you're fine. All right, since we were at 75% plus when we did this, we're going to invis skip through. We don't need this as count. Those guys hurt. This guy wanted us to go first because he didn't have a pot. He used a combat potion, but I think he's engineering. I think he had an invis on his belt or something. So this pole can be scared on a fortified week. This one right here. A lot of the times, ooh, Archie, ooh, get up there. A lot of these times, I actually pull all those cadets as well. But I was worried about bursting and then not having a lot of cooldowns at this exact moment. I do have a lot of runic power, but you know what? It's killed me before, not being ready for the spike damage I get from them all being there. And I don't know. With bursting, I was afraid. So I was like, our time is good. Let's take it a little slow. Not too slow, but definitely slower. Man, that blood DK life. Stuff comes in and oh, dude, it's so good. Oh man, I live for that. It's so scary. It makes the key so much more fun, especially when you're challenged and like you're like this, when you're like fighting to stay alive. Oh, the key goes by so fast because you're just like in the zone. Yeah, this is the first tank I ever picked up too, and man, I'm so glad I did. Not a lot of tanks have a ranged kick, a stun, can heal them. I don't know, I sound like the poster child of like a blood DK, but man, I lucked out picking such a fun tank. And a challenging one too. Like most people just, they don't see a lot of blood DKs at this level. I always AMZ this one because all those casters hit. Archie turning up here. But we got our stacks. So I'm gonna try and run ahead right here and get it started. This boss drops aggro, so be very careful when you do that. He drops aggro. Anytime he goes and resets, your aggro table is dropped. You have to reacquire him. So don't just like think you still have threat from the last time he did his little doom squall and then left, because you don't. I don't know if I can fall off there, but it definitely scared me when I got knocked up like that. So this is where you don't want to be. I have runic power, but I don't have any runes. But the dancing rune weapon just finished, and thanks to Crimson Rune, I'm regenerating runes fast. Because when dancing rune ends, when you have the Crimson Rune weapon legendary, when dancing rune ends, you get 10 seconds of increased rune regeneration speed. And with Night Fae, for how much you have to Death Strike and keep these stacks up, absolutely necessary. There's no way I would ever be Night Fae and play Super Strain. That's just, I don't think it would work. You could do it as Venthyr, you could do it as pretty much all of them, but I don't think it would work. To maintain your stacks of Death's Due, all that strength buff, I don't think you'd be able to do Super Strain. There's just too much that you get. You get too many Bone Shield stacks from Dancing Rune Weapon, and you get that Crimson Rune Weapon Rune Haste when it ends. I can't see it. I mean, maybe you guys have done it. I definitely have not. Be very careful of those traps, because as a DK, you're going to see your health just go real quick. Yeah, he wanted to double that. He wanted to combine the last pack with this one because we still had the buff going. But I just don't want any deaths here, because we did a skip, and if we have deaths, it could be bad. Alright, we're going into this fight. 4 minutes left, and we have 3 battle reses. It's looking pretty good. I think I can give you guys some volume now. Can I turn this down a little bit here? Alright, turn it down some. I'm going to turn it down some. Maybe turn down just a gnat swing more. Oh, okay. Archie dropping a F-bomb the second I unmute this thing. That's funny. He's saying how the mage is pumping. That mage is effing pumping, dude. Yeah, this fight is really no challenge for Blood. I don't think it's that hard of a fight either. Excuse my yawn. That's the only thing. It's just making sure people don't get hit by that. Your biggest job is to put up the shield when she moves. Gloom Squall in 2 seconds. There. He is running. That's like your main job right there. If you put that Shining Radiance down and you AMS, you take pretty much no damage. But yeah, I know I got 3 battle reses in the bank, so I know we're good. Even if somebody messes up, we're good. So what I do here is I put on Death's Advance. You can't be knocked up, or you can't be knocked around when you have Death's Advance on. So those tornadoes, I can hit Death's Advance and then just run over them all and get rid of them. Death's Advance also works in the other side. There you go. +8. Got some score. There's the Heart Strike damage. There's my damage there. Heart Strike, Blood Boil, Death's Due. And my healing is, pretty good. And that's it. So, good times. Alright, thank you for watching. Please, if you liked it, leave a comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. You don't have to, but I'd appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for stopping by.